Hi, welcome back to the Positive Prepper. Hope you guys are all doing okay. I want to talk today about expanding your tribal group. So, if you listen to mainstream media and a lot of other people, it's hard to keep in mind that we are the United States of America. Separation is forced upon us in so many different ways, and a lot of people have started using the phrase tribal group. Okay, so tribals, the definition of tribal is relating, and I quote, relating to a group or community with similar ancestors, customs, and traditions. It's now used to denote for a lot of people, it's just basically similar group think. Okay. So for example, preppers or non-preppers, Christians or atheists, Republicans or Democrats, right? We are dividing ourselves more and more into these tribal groups. And I don't mean in any disrespect to Native Americans. Please don't take it that way. I'm simply using this term as a way to define the groupthink that's happening right now and how we're dividing ourselves into these tribal groups. And I'm guilty of it, folks. You know, I'm human. I have a hard time understanding how someone doesn't believe in our ever-loving, ever-present God, or how anyone can think that illegal immigrants should get all of this free stuff while our hero veterans are homeless and on the streets. I have a really hard time understanding that perspective. Okay. But that doesn't mean that just because someone thinks differently than I am makes them a bad person. Okay. As a matter of fact, I know some very, very good people that I trust with my life that do not have the same groupthink in a lot of areas that I do. Okay, but that doesn't mean, just because they don't think like I do, it doesn't mean that they're bad people. And you're going to understand where I'm going with this in a minute, so just keep watching, bear with me. So I want you to imagine an SHTF scenario happens right now. The more that everyone is prepared, the better off we are all going to be. I'm going to say that again. The more everyone is prepared, the better off we are all going to be. As preppers, we know that we have to be careful, right? We have to be careful. And really make sure that we truly trust the people that we allow into our mag groups, or even have more specific conversations about prepping with, right? You just don't want to tell everybody what preps you have or where they are, or, a lot of the things that you've been doing maybe on your property, or the plans that you're putting in place, right? Or where your bug out location is. But if we stay within our own specific tribal group, okay, we're actually ending up making things harder for ourselves. This misconception about preppers is that we are all Christian and we are all gun-loving, hardcore patriots who are really overzealous about being prepared, right? I understand that perception because if you look at a lot of prepping channels, even on this platform, right? That there is a large amount of preppers, such as myself. I fit that description to a T, okay? But think about how much easier life would be in an SHTF for everyone if even the most atheistic, country-hating, tree-loving, sandal-wearing person was just as prepared as we are. Okay? And I believe that there are good people out there who may not have that same groupthink as I do in many areas, but has the same concern as we do about not being ready at the time of crisis. So it's kind of a different way to look at things, not so divisively, okay? So what I'm asking you to do as a prepper, don't disqualify others, even if not all of those groupthink boxes are checked, okay? Prepping is about so much more than where you stand politically. I mean, we talk about it because we have to talk about current events. And I'm not going to apologize for that, because I have some very real concerns about where our country is headed and what's going to be taking place. Those are very real thoughts and opinions and feelings that I have. And I know a lot of other preppers have those. So I'm not discounting or minimizing those. What I'm asking myself and you to do is to go outside of that and think about just that piece of survival and preparedness, okay? So think of it in terms of, you know, if there is a hurricane, if there's a massive wildfire, or if there was, God forbid, another, you know, massive earthquake, there is nothing and no one that could convince me that we would not all pull together as an American country and help our fellow Americans out. Okay? I believe that we pull together in those situations in a way that a lot of other countries don't. And I'm very proud of my country, our country, for that. So I want you to think of prepping in its most basic form as survival and what we all need to do to prepare, okay? And, you know, the more that people are prepared, the less people that we're going to have to worry about coming after our own resources. So I'm going to challenge you to reach out to others who are not necessarily in that same groupthink, and just help one person begin to prep, or learn how to at least start that process, or at least learn and understand what prepping is in its most basic form, which is, you know, building up your food, having your medical supplies, having your water, having your alternative heat source. Okay, that is your basic prepping premise. The politics is a lot of the time why we prep, right? Because we see things coming down the road with certain administrations that, and certain things that are happening globally. For example, the supply chain. This supply chain crisis is not going to just affect preppers. It's going to affect everyone. And so the more people we have prepared, the less people we have to worry about coming after us. And you might find, if you are able to do this, your own tribal group expanded. Okay? It doesn't mean that you have to let these people into your mag or tell them about your own supplies, as I said earlier. But maybe just plant that seed, okay? That in this crazy world, the way things are right now, regardless of which tribal group you're in politically, anything can happen. And it could be a natural or a man-made disaster. And that they should have the basic supplies on hand. If you can do this for one person, it's one less person that you would have to worry about when the next big SHTF happens. I would love to hear if you're willing to take this challenge and think outside of your tribal group and reach out to one person whom you may not have anything in common, whether it's politically, religiously, your value systems. You know, they might not check all the boxes. It's about preparing. It's about just that basic prepping. Okay? Keep that in mind. So it might just be getting them to watch a prepping video. The very first video I did was why we prep. Okay? It's a good video. There's other great videos out there. Okay? It doesn't have to be mine. I'm not here to make money. I'm not here to get a million followers. I'm here to help one person. And hopefully I've been able to do that. And hopefully I'll be able to continue doing that. But the point is, it might just be having them watch a prepping video. It might even be something as simple as you at home on your computer make up a list of your basic prepping supplies, 6 month supplies, and that would include your, what they would need for food, medications, first aid, water, do they have that alternative heat source? Make this list, print it out, and if you find someone that you think might be open to having that discussion, it could be a coworker, it could be somebody that you know in your family, or wherever, just that one person that has a different groupthink than you. Give it a shot. Try to get one person at least interested in it and maybe helping them take those first steps. Okay? This is about basic survival. I would love to hear about your attempts in the comments section below. And I will tell you that I am going to hold myself to this challenge. I know people in my family. There's two sides that there's three. There's three sides I hear in my own family. Okay, on the one side, we have the preppers. We have the people that understand the reasoning behind it. Okay, it's all about survival when an SHTF happens, regardless of how that happens. And then I have the other side that think nothing's going to happen. I'm not going to prepare for nothing. What's the point? People have been saying stuff's going to happen for a long time. So, I don't need to do that. And then I have the third kind where it doesn't matter what happens. I'm going to be raptured out of here, and God's going to take care of me, and I don't have to prepare for my family. And, so those are the three kind of people that I have within my own family. And I don't judge any of them for their opinion. That's their opinion. They're entitled to it. But I am going to hold myself to this challenge. And I'm going to try to talk to somebody who is outside of my group think. Okay? And I am going to try to convince them. But I'm going to take notes, I call them mental sticky notes, you know, like the 3M sticky notes. I'm going to take mental sticky notes about what they say, what their responses are. But I'm going to make that attempt. And then, so I'd love to hear about your attempt in the comments section below. Again, this is kind of another good positive video because it's reaching out kind of outside of that tribal group think and reaching someone that we might not ordinarily seek out, but keeping in mind that it's only about the basic prepping. You don't have to get into the politics of it. You don't have to get into the religious beliefs or the value systems. It's just about preparing for when or if that next SHTF happens. All right? We'll see how this goes. Please remember to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you know when my next video is going to be ready for you. And then don't forget that I'm also on Rumble under Positive Prepper. I have another video that's just about ready to go. That'll be my third video. The first two, I think, are pretty good. So hopefully you'll take a minute to watch those. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear it. God bless.